Sir Handel was feeling indignant. His old whistle had broken, so he had to be fitted with a new one. Unfortunately, due to an order mix-up, the new whistle was very different from his old one. It was very loud and shrill, and he didn't like it at all. He was still feeling grumpy as he brought his coaches into Gate that morning. "Good morning, Sir Handel," Gordon called from the other platform. "What's so good about it?" grumbled Sir Handel. "I've been fitted with a silly new whistle." As if to prove his point, he blew it long and loud. The passengers held their ears, but Gordon was impressed. "Silly, that's enough for a whistle," he exclaimed. "You should consider yourself lucky, my dear engine. Some of the most prestigious engines in history have that very whistle." Sir Handel didn't exactly know what prestigious meant, but it sounded very important. He didn't think his whistle was silly now. "Gordon says my whistle's, egregious. He told the other engines that night in the sheds. He says I should consider myself lucky to have it." "Well, you're right about one of those things," said Rusty. "I could hear you from the other side of the island with that shrill thing." "I've had children on my trains that didn't scream that loudly," complained Duncan. "We may as well call you Shrill Handel now," joked Peter, Sam, and the others laughed. Sir Handel's smug face turned back into his signature frown, and he was still feeling cross the next morning. "They're all jealous," he muttered to himself. "I'll show them that my whistle's just as egregious as Gordon said it was." Sir Handel's passengers were the first to fall victim to his sour mood as the sound of his new whistle pierced their ears. "Easy boy," said his driver, his ears ringing a little. "We're trying to say hello to our passengers, not deafen them." But Sir Handel didn't care, and he blew his whistle once more as he pulled away. Normally, engines are only supposed to whistle at certain points along the line to let people know that they are approaching, but Sir Handel was blowing his whistle at everything. Birds and deer fled in fear, the passengers jumped, and cars, buses, and lorries all swerved in surprise, but Sir Handel continued blowing his whistle in the same haughty manner. All the while, the ringing in his cruisers was getting louder and louder. Later, Sir Handel stopped at Glenlock Station. Once the passengers had all climbed aboard, the guard blew his whistle and waved his green flag. But Sir Handel didn't move. The guard blew his whistle again, but Sir Handel remained still. "Come on, what's the holdup?" grumbled Sir Handel. "We're going to be late." But there was no reply from his cab. The guard rushed over to see what was the matter, only to find the driver and fireman standing solemnly in the cab. "Didn't you hear the whistle?" asked the guard. But the crew didn't reply. The guard raised his voice. "What whistle?" shouted the driver. "Speak up, will you? And where's all that ringing coming from?" "Well, that explains it," said the guard. "All your silly whistling's gone and made their ears ring. They can't hear a thing. Looks like this train won't be going anywhere now." Sir Handel felt very embarrassed. Soon, Sir Handel's driver and fireman were taken to a nearby hospital, and Peter arrived to take Sir Handel and his train the rest of the way. Well, he chuckled. "Looks like Shrill Handel struck again." Sir Handel said nothing as he clanked meekly behind. The thing controller had some stern words for Sir Handel when he returned to the sheds that afternoon. "I hope you're proud of yourself," he said firmly. "Your crew will be fine in a few days' time, but you will stay on shunning duties until your proper whistle arrives at the end of the week. And I don't want to hear another peep out of you until then." That night, the other engines teased Sir Handel once more. "Well, you certainly proved your whistle was egregious today," laughed Reanies. "Seems like a big engine's whistle just isn't the sort of thing for an engine with as small a temper as yours," quipped Rusty. "Be careful, you two," said Peter Sam, "or Shrill Handel will give us all an earful." Now Sir Handel wished his ears were ringing too.